यमुना तेरा बनचारे, यमुना तेरा बनचारे। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. जयो राधा वल्लभ राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे। जयो जगन्नाथा जगन्नाथा बलदेवा जयो सुभद्रा। जयो गौरानिताय 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 जयो गौरानिताय। प्रभुपाद 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 जयो जयो प्रभुपाद। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for today's discussion of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. We are reading from 8th canto, chapter 9, titled as The Lord Incarnates as Mohini Murti, and we are reading from verse number 25. Chakrena kshuradharena jahara pibata shiraha haristasya kabandhastu sudhaya plavitopatat. Chakrena kshuradharena Jahara pibata shiraha Haristasya kabandhastu Sudhaya plavitopatat Chakrena kshuradharena Jahara pibata shiraha Haristasya kabandhastu Sudhaya plavitopatat Chakrena kshuradharena Chakrena kshuradharena Haristasya kabandhastu Sudhaya Mataji's Chakrena kshuradharena Jahara pibata shiraha Sudhaya pavitopatat Chakrena kshuradharena Jahara pibata shiraha Chakrena by the disc, Kshuradharena which was sharp like a razor, Jahara cut off, Pibataha while drinking nectar, Shiraha the head, Harihi the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tasya of that Rahu, Kabandahatu but the headless body, Sudhaya by the nectar, Applavitaha without being touched, Apatat immediately fell dead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, using his disc, which was sharp like a razor, at once cut off Rahu's head. When Rahu's head was severed from his body, the body, being untouched by the nectar, could not survive. Purport. When the Personality of Godhead, Mohini Murti, severed Rahu's head from his body, the head remained alive, although the body died. Rahu had been drinking nectar through his mouth, and before the nectar entered his body, his head was cut off. Thus, Rahu's head remained alive, whereas the body died. This wonderful act performed by the Lord was meant to show the nectar is miraculous ambrosia. I'll read a few more verses because it's related. Verse 26. Shirastva amaratam nityam ajograham achiklippat yastu parvani chandrarkau abhidhavati vairyadhihi. Rahu's head, however, having been touched by the nectar, became immortal. Thus, Lord Brahma accepted Rahu's head as one of the planets. Since Rahu is an eternal enemy of the moon and the sun, he always tries to attack them on the nights of the full moon and the dark moon. Purport. Since Rahu had become immortal, Lord Brahma accepted him as one of the grahas or planets like the moon and the sun. Rahu, however, being an eternal enemy of the moon and sun, attacks them periodically during the nights of the full moon and the dark moon. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishna Vamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam. I forgot. Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yam Pravrjantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayana Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinedu Stham Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi. So, welcome all of you. So this pastime is continuing, and we are having a wonderful discussion over the few days, or maybe a few weeks, on this nectarian story of how the Lord has incarnated as Mohini Murti. But before we go into the pastime, I would just like to speak a few glories of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam so that we can understand the glories of this wonderful literature. The verse that I just now chanted, Yam Pravrjantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayana Viraha Katara Ajvahava. This is a verse where Suta Goswami is paying his obeisances to Vyasadeva and Shukadeva Goswami. Yam Pravrjantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam. That Shukadeva Goswami, Pravrjantam, we say Parivrajaka-acharya, for the sannyasis. Pravrjantam means he had run away from the house because he was unattached. He was unattached to any household life. We know Shukadeva Goswami was actually roaming naked in that sense. Imagine Shukadeva Goswami coming here and giving a Bhagavatam class. So probably we'll stop him from entering the door because he was not even wearing a cloth. We'll say it's not according to the decorum of this society. But so much detached he was. Yam Pravrjantam Anupeta Apeta Krityam. Although he seemed, Apeta means he had no relation to the body. He had no relationship to the body and the expansions of the body. Dvaipayana Viraha Katar Ajuhava. When Shukadeva Goswami ran away from the household duties, Dvaipayana means Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva was born on a Dvipa to Parashara Muni. Dvipa means an island. So therefore he is called Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Our Vedavyasa is a position, And every kalpa there will be a new Vyasadeva. In this case, it was the Supreme Lord himself. So he's called Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Krishna because he was Krishna in color. He was blackish blue in color. And he was born on the Dvipa, therefore he is Dvaipayana. And Vyasa is a surname. Or Veda Vyasa. Viraha Katara Ajuhava. He's running behind Shukadeva Goswami. Of course, he's the Supreme Lord. But he's enacting as if, because every time somebody takes sannyas, the parents cry. There is a general tradition. When a child takes sannyas, the parents cry because it is said in the sannyasa, they give oblations to their father and mother even when they are alive. That is sannyas. They actually say, I don't have any father, I don't have any mother. I accept Krishna only as the mother and the father. So it's very relevant to today's verse what we are discussing and this pastime of Mohini Murti. So he is running behind Shukadeva Goswami, don't run away, come back. Putreti tanmayataya taravobhinedu. Putreti tanmayataya. Thinking of his son, he is running and he is calling, hey Shukadeva, come back. And when he is calling, oh son, come back, the trees are also calling back to him. Oh son, come back. Oh son, come back. Taravobhinedu. The trees are calling back to him. Tam sarva bhuta hridayam munim anatosmi. Here, this verse, Tam Sarva Bhuta Hridayam. Suta Goswami is praying to Shukadeva Goswami as Tam Sarva Bhuta Hridayam. You are resident in everybody's heart. Shukadeva Goswami, please reside in my heart also, and so that I can also relish the Bhagavatam that you have relished. Suta Goswami continues in the next verse, glorifying him and Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Yasvanubhavam Akhila Shruti Saramekam Adhyatma Deepam Atititir Satam Tamondham Samsarinam Karunayaha Purana Guhyam Tam Vyasa Sunum Upayami Gurum Muninam. Yasvanubhavam. He is glorifying Shukadeva Goswami as Swa Anubhavam. You have actually assimilated this literature by Anubhava. Anubhava means following in the directions of his Guru and experiencing this knowledge. Akhila Shruti Saramekam. Akhila Shruti means all the Vedas combined together, the essence of this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam you have assimilated. Adhyatma Deepam. If anybody wants to understand the light, that's why we said there is a light of Bhagavata. There is a book written. Adhyatma Deepam. This is the pinnacle of anyone who is pursuing Adhyatma, the path of spiritual seeking. This literature is what one can lead us one to light from darkness. Atititir Satam Tamondham. He's saying, you have compiled this literature for bringing people out of material misery and the darkest regions of material existence. What is the most darkest region of material existence in this universe? What is the region of most darkest ignorance in this material universe? Huh? Yeah? Okay. Huh? Okay. This material body. Because we are residing in this body. This itself is a product of avidya and ignorance. It is said this body is a shame to the spirit soul. It has to be shameful that I have resided in this body of stool, mucus, pus and urine and I am so attached to it. So therefore, tamondham samsarina, because if I say it is the hellish planets, I might think I am residing in a very nice place. By implicit that I am thinking I am in a nice place, but I am not because I am in this material body. Samsarinam karunayaha Purana Guhyam. So you gave this Purana Guhyam, the most secretive of Puranas, you have given it to samsara out of causeless mercy. Karunayaha Tam Vyasa Sunum, the son of Vyasadev, Upayami Gurum Muninam. I pay my respectful obeisances. This is how Suta Goswami offers his obeisances to Shukadeva Goswami and Vyasadeva, father and son. Although Shukadeva Goswami and Suta Goswami and Shaunaka Rishis have compiled this literature by the help of Vyasadeva, although it is available for everyone can access, but not everyone is interested in reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Especially those who come from land of Bharata. If you tell them, they'll say, no, I know everything about Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. I know about Bhagavad Gita. Many times they confuse between Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. You tell them you have Bhagavatam. Yeah, I've read everything about Bhagavatam. How many chapters? Says 18 chapters. They'll get confused. But they'll claim that they have read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Therefore, even though Shukadeva Goswami has compiled this for us, has recited it for us, he did not recite it for Parikshit Maharaj, because Parikshit Maharaj was a liberated soul anyways. So that interaction between Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami was for souls like us who are embodied. Now, coming back to the context of Mohini Murti, we will meditate a few minutes on Mohini Murti a little bit, because it is a wonderful incarnation of the Lord. In the 8th chapter, who had appeared in the end, who brought the nectar? Dhanvantri. Dhanvantri was another form of the Lord who is meditated and worshipped by doctors, by Ayurveda doctors, who brings health and prosperity in terms of mental and spiritual and physical health. Dhanvantri. He had appeared. But what had happened? He had come with the nectar, and what happened next? Yeah, the demons snatched away from him. Now one may say Dhanvantri was the Supreme Lord. Why couldn't he stop the demons from taking the nectar? He could have said, no, stay there. He didn't. So it was to enact, to show us the quality of an asura. How do the asuras behave? If you read the 16th chapter, we will discuss a few of the verses from the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita of the Daivasura Sampada. Can someone get me a Bhagavad Gita if you don't mind, please? Daivasura Sampada, the 4th verse of the 16th chapter, Krishna explains what is their quality, and Prabhupada writes in that purport of what their quality is. So, thank you. They snatched the nectar by force, and then the Lord assumed which form? Mohini's form. Now, what is the significance of this form? We have to understand. Let's go a little deeper. Now, all of a sudden, why did the Lord assume a woman's form? He could have assumed the Mahapurusha Avatara and got his disc and severed the head of demons. He didn't. He took a form of a beautiful woman. So we need to little bit delve into this. Why did he even do this? There are very significant lessons that is coming out of it. I had met a lady near my house in Bangalore. She was telling me, no, Prabhuji, not Prabhuji. She was telling, Hamare religion mein God is only male. We don't have female God in our religion, she was telling me. She was referring to, sometimes in Hindu, anybody is God, female God. I worship Durga Mata. Durga Mata is the Janani of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Somebody said, no, God is a female, they will claim. And then somebody will say, no, God is a male. He cannot be female. This is stereotypical consciousness trying to put a frame on God to say whether he's a male or a female, coming from the perspective of a gender of a human body, of a male or a female. And there are some others who say he's neither male nor female. They'll say neither male nor female. What is he? Is he impersonal? No, he's neither male nor. Then what is he? We don't know, but he's not male, not female. So there are two types of stereotypes. To break both these stereotypes, the Lord incarnated as a woman. So God is both male and female, not as the gender male and female we realize, but as a principle male and female we realize. There is a principle that the Lord wants to exhibit. He shows his both male and female form at the same time. Mohini Murti and then Dhanvantri. There was Dhanvantri and there was Mohini. Of course, there were other two forms of the Lord also at that same time. There were 4 forms simultaneously. What were they? Ajita and Kurma was there. So there are 4 forms of the Lord simultaneously, and of course his vibhutis in the Devatas and the Asuras to churn the milk ocean. So it is not that the Lord dressed himself as a female. Sometimes in these episodes of some serials, they dress a male as a female and they'll show him as Mohini Murti. And it is so detestful and awful to see them. That is not Mohini Murti. Mohini Murti was a woman. She was. The Lord incarnated as a woman, as a female. So it is not a mistaken identity of pronoun, him or her, him or her. It was a her, for clarification. So these days there is a lot of confusion in pronouns. No? There is a big problem now. I have to put a pronoun in my office also. He, him. Now, in the 3rd chapter, when the incarnations were listed, Dhanvantri comes as the 13th and Mohini Murti comes as the 14th incarnation. Mohinya Mohayan Striya.
This Mohini Murti was very beautiful. She was so beautiful that nobody can surpass her beauty. Who can surpass Krishna's beauty? Is it not? She was the most attractive. She was the most attractive woman in this whole universe. Nobody can be more attractive than Mohini. But hang on, someone else can be more attractive than Mohini. Who is that? Yeah, she is Madana Mohana Mohini. So, we're not talking of Radharani at this point in time. We are talking of the material beauty here. So, Krishna sometimes manifests, probably he was remembering Radharani and he called himself the Mohini. No, it's about not that Mohini, but the material Mohini. And the word also says, Radharani's beauty bewilders Krishna, but Krishna's beauty here, Mohini, is bewildering the Asuras. She was so beautiful actually. But this form of the Lord, it is the Lord who has taken up the form. So therefore it has to be transcendental. It's not a material beauty that the Lord is exhibiting. It is bewildering at the same time. It's very beautiful. So the point is, in this material world, everyone is looking for Krishna. Everyone is looking for Krishna. From a smallest ant to the highest creature, everyone is looking for Krishna, but they do not know that they are looking for Krishna. Or they search for Krishna in the wrong objects. If I get this, I will be happy. If I get this, I will be happy. This is what is called as illusion of the material world. But they're all searching for Krishna only. They try to search for Krishna in terms of material objects. So their seeking is wrong. They search the place is wrong, but their seeking is right. They're seeking Krishna at all time, place, and circumstances. In fact, the gopis also seek Krishna. In fact, when Uddhava meets Vidura, Uddhava explains from the 3rd canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, he remembers how the gopis wants to see Krishna, how the gopis are attracted to the beauty of Krishna. Yasya anuraga plutaha sarasa leelavaloka pratilabdhamana vrajastriyo drigbhiranupravritta dhiyo vastutuh kilakritya shesha. The gopis' eyes were following Krishna. Wherever Krishna goes, the eyes will follow. The eyes will go everywhere where Krishna goes. Their eyes are so tuned to Krishna. If Krishna vanishes, then their eyes will flicker. They say, where did Krishna go? Where did Krishna go? I can't see him. So much attached there to the beauty of Krishna. So Krishna is very beautiful. So therefore, whatever he does, it's beautiful. They were so much attached that they couldn't do their duties properly. Kilakritya sesha, asheshaha. Their home duties, they had left it in between because they were so attracted to the pastimes of Krishna, to the beauty of Krishna. So therefore, we also have to be attracted to Krishna. But one may say, Prabhuji, the Asuras also were attracted to Mohini Murti. So what's wrong in that? Why were they apparently cheated? There is a question, isn't it? Were they not attracted to Krishna? What's the problem? Correct. So, appreciating beauty is not a problem because everything that the Lord creates is beautiful. So, we have to cultivate the habit of glorifying the beauty of the Lord. That is not the problem. The problem is the intent of the glorification. Because many people may appreciate beauty. Appreciating beauty is not wrong. But what is the intent of that appreciation? That is the problem. The intent is bhoga. If I'm something called as bhoga buddhi. Bhoga buddhi means, oh, this is very beautiful, so I want to enjoy that beauty. The enjoying propensity is what is the problem. Because it is only Krishna who is the enjoyer. Nobody else can enjoy. And Krishna's beauty is enjoyed by Radharani and the gopis. So when we inculcate this bhoga buddhi, that is exactly what Mohini Murti is come here to show. She has come here to show that the buddhi of the asuras, they were also attracted to Mohini Murti. The devatas are also were attracted to the Mohini Murti. They both were attracted, but the intent was different. What was the intent of the asuras? They wanted to captivate her. They wanted to make her their own. They want to own everything, that is the asuric mentality. That is the problem. Because the asuras operate on a platform of which mode of material world? Rajoguna and tamas. Because Rajoguna will lead to tamas only. You have to be either sattva or tamas. Rajoguna is in between. So most of the Rajo people will fall down only most of the time if you are in Rajas because it's tainted with tamas. This Rajoguna and Tamasaguna what will it give rise to? Pumsastri maituni bhavimetam tayormita hridaya granti mahuhu atoh griha kshetra suta aptavittaihi janasya mohoyam aham mameti. Aham mameti. This is the root cause of material existence, and this is what asuras run on. We have to understand these pastimes are just not happening somewhere in a galactic universe between two people called Asura and Devatas. It is actually a meditation on spiritual consciousness. A spiritual seeker has to see how is it applicable to me personally. There is a personal application of these Shastric injunctions. So then what is the connection? The connection is, we'll meditate on the intention of seeing Mohini Murti. Because it's very interesting, Vaishnavas do not worship two forms of the Lord. One is Mohini Murti. We don't install deities of Mohini Murti and worship her. Maybe some Asura might have installed the deity in some Padala Loka and worship Mohini Murti with a different intention. But we don't install Mohini Murti, nor we install Buddha's deity. They both are illusory forms. Their main purpose is to bewilder their followers. Therefore, Buddha also bewilders by telling them don't follow the Vedas. Mohini Murti also bewilders. So the Asuras and the atheistic try to follow them very nicely. But then what was the intent of the Devatas? Devatas also were attracted. But what were their intentions? Very important. Therefore, why did Mohini go and give the nectar to them? For that we have to refer the scriptures. We have to go a little more deeper. In the Mahabharata, Gandhari glorifies Krishna. We know this famous verse. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva tvameva vidyadramidam tvameva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Gandhari is glorifying Krishna like this. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Who is she glorifying this to? She's glorifying Krishna, you are the mother, you are the father. She's glorifying Krishna as the mother, she's glorifying Krishna as the father. Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya draminam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Everything is you, Krishna. You are the mother, you are the mother, you are the father, you are the sakha, you are the friend, you are the maintainer, you are knowledge, you are everything to me, Krishna. This is how Gandhari meditates on Krishna. Let's meditate on this a little bit deeper. When Krishna returns from Hastinapura, he is entering Dwarka. When he enters Dwarka, how do the Dwarkavasis pray to him? They pray, Bhavayanastvam bhava vishva bhavana tvameva mathata suhrit patih pita tvam sadgururna paramam cha daivatam yasyanu kritino bhabuvima. The Dwarkavasis are praying, Bhavaya nastvam bhava vishva bhavana. You have created this material world for us, my dear Lord. Tvam eva mata suhrit pati pitaha. Dwarkavasis are glorifying the Lord that Tvam eva mata, you are our mother, you are our pita, you are our pati, you are our husband, pati and pita. Suhrit, you are our friend, pati. Pati means, the root of pati, pati iti pati. Pati means, in Kannada, when you put a tree and you make the mound of sand around it to protect the water, you build a bridge around the stem, that's called pati, to protect. So pati means to protect. Pati iti pati. So you are pati, you are patihi. They glorify like this. Does Krishna approve of this? Krishna himself tells this in the Bhagavad Gita. Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksamaya jurevacha. 9.17. I am the father of this universe. Pita asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha. I am the father, I am the mother, I am the supporter and the grandsire. And Vedaham Pavitram Omkara Riksama Yajurevacha. 9.7. So he is confirming, I am the father, I am the mother. Mama Yonir Mahad Brahma. Krishna says. So Krishna is confirming that I am the mother. So what does it imply? It implies that both the principles of father and mother exist within him. It's a principle. Both the Shaktis inculcate in him. And it is the same Shaktis he invests in male and female people in this material universe. You see, when we see a male, he has certain strength. I am the strength in the strong, Krishna says. And then when he sees a female, what are the qualities that he invests in a female? What does Krishna say about female? What is the principle? He says, Kirti Shrir Vak Chanarinam Smritir Medha Dhriti Kshama. He says, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham Udbhavascha Bhavishyatam. I am all devouring death and I am generating principle of all that is yet to be. And among women, Kirti, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness and patience. So when you see these qualities in women, what should it remind us of? It should remind us of Krishna. So he has invested his potencies in both male and female. He exists as a male in the male and he exists as a female in the female as these principles. That we have to understand. That is why Prabhupada many times quotes this verse. Matravat paradareshu paradhravyeshu lostravat atmavat sarvabhuteshu yah pashyati sapanditaha. Matravat paradareshu. Many times we say we have to see other women as mothers. Actually, there is a deeper connotation to this. We should see the mother in other women. Woman is always a mother. Every woman is always a mother. We should develop the consciousness of seeing the mother in them. We should try to develop the consciousness of seeing Krishna's feminine potencies in the mother. Therefore, in ISKCON, we call everyone as Matajis. Matajis is seeing the feminine potency of Krishna in them. When you call Prabhu, we are seeing the masculine potency of Krishna in Prabhu and the feminine. He's both. Why do we reject one of them? And that feminine potency is personification of that feminine potency is Srimati Radharani, the Alladini Shakti. So his Shaktis are there in both. Then how do you then understand this particular two incarnations that have erupted for the nectar? It is said, Dhanvantri. Dhanva, sometimes you will see people named as Sudhanva. Dhanva means, in Sanskritam, Dhanvani. Dhanvani means it's a barren land. Dhanvantri means Dhanvani Trayate iti Dhanvantri. One who takes you away from a barren land and takes you to a land of bounty. Australian national anthem. It's called as land of bounty, isn't it? One who takes you from the barren land and takes you to the land of bounty is Dhanvantri. One who takes you away from your sins. Barren land means our sin, this sinful life. The body which we have acquired due to our own sins or our karma, he takes you away from this and gives us nectar, ambrosial nectar. That is Dhanvantri. And then, what is Mohini? When he brings you from a barren land into his house, the mother serves you the nectar. Mohini Murti is then serving the nectar. The father brings you in, the mother serves you the nectar. So this is the combination of Dhanvantri and Mohini Murti. And the Lord himself is both Dhanvantri and Mohini Murti. But the Asuras did not see this. The Asuras saw Mohini as an object of pleasure for them. That's why they did not get the nectar. Now what is Rahu's connection in here? We saw that among the Asuras, there was this one Rahu, this one guy called Rahu, or in the previous verses, he was known as, what is that? Swarabhanu. His name was Swarabhanu. Swarabhanu means he's the opposite of Bhanu, means he's darkness, Swarabhanu. So when Rahu, what he thought, he was a little intelligent. He thought, oh, okay, Mohini Murti is bewildering me, let me not get bewildered. So he was a little intelligent, so therefore he was given Amrita for his intelligence only. So he went and dressed himself and sat down in the assembly of the Devatas and tried to consume the nectar. Now one may think, why did the Lord not stop him? The Lord is omniscient. The Lord wanted to show the magical powers of this nectar, because Devata means Dividhatu. Devata, the word Deva, Diva, we say Diva, Deepa, we say, right? That word, Devata comes from that word. That's why it's called divine. You see, divine comes from Dividhatu. Divi means light. So Devatas means one who takes you from darker ignorance to light, or one who sustains all life on this planet is called Devata, because their purpose and their desire is to help others. That is in essence devatas. Asura means asura. Sura means Surya, light. Asura means one who takes you away from light and puts you in darkness. These are the two people, two types of qualities. In Kali Yuga, there are no asuras and devatas separately. They both reside in us. Sometimes our own qualities, we have asuric qualities. Sometimes our pious credits are good. Sometimes, or because of good association, certain good qualities gets manifested in us. So therefore, both devata and asuras reside in us. And this Rahu was so intelligent, he went and opened his mouth. This nectar is so powerful, if you consume this, the demons can cause problems. You saw just when Dhanvantri was out with the nectar, the demons tried to snatch it away from him. So the Lord did not want them to consume this nectar because their natures are like that. We will see in the Bhagavad Gita, one of the verses Krishna says. So this Rahu had the nectar, but just when the nectar was going through the mouth, through the throat, Ajita, who was there, Ajita comes and opens his Vishnu Chakra and Sudarshana Chakra and chops off his head. So his bottom portion of the body almost becomes dead, and the top portion of the body, which is the head, remains immortal because the nectar has gone inside the mouth. When we say immortal, it means it stays in for the whole duration of life of Brahma. So therefore Brahmaji gave him a planet called Rahu. That's why this Rahu creates eclipses, a solar eclipse and a lunar. They come in between the sun and the moon and they try to eclipse the moon and the sun. They are against light. They are always darkness. Therefore they come and eclipse these two celestial planets. Again, Rahu has a very deep bearing in astrology. Many people say, if you at least come in South India, they will not start anything after 10:45 or 11, say Rahu Kalam. You can't start anything good in Rahu Kalam, they say. So in every day, there is a specific period of time that is being given to Rahu planet. And similarly, this Rahu and Ketu went into the ground, and then onion and garlic also has come from Rahu and Ketu. Why we don't eat onion and garlic is because they are very powerful like the demon. It can give you very good health physically, but it can destroy your consciousness by destroying your spiritual abilities. Therefore, onion and garlic, though being very helpful as a medicine, is very destructive for someone who is on a path of spiritual. That is why people who eat onion garlic, first of all, they smell, their mouth smell, they stink, and their houses also stink. After becoming a devotee, the first thing you will notice is the moment you enter someone's house or you speak to someone, you know this guy is eating onion and garlic. Pungent smell will come out. We'll be able to distinguish. Before devotee will not be able to distinguish. Now, my God. So, but they will not know because they are immersed in that pungent fragrance actually. So, so therefore Rahu and Ketu exhibits their fragrance like this through onion and garlic. So one may think, what is in it for us as meditation, as devotees? When we apply this as a personal application, we can see that asura are demoniac natures. In the 15th chapter, Krishna ends the 15th chapter with a verse. He says, Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktvam maya nagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat krita kritasya cha bharata. He says, I have given you the ultimate. Iti guhya tamam, tamam guhyam. We say in Hindi tamam. This word tamam comes from Sanskritam tamam. Tamam means the end, the pinnacle of secret. I have already told you of all the Shastras, which is the 15th chapter. Idam uktvam maya anagha. I have told this to you, Arjuna, because you are anagha. What do you mean by anagha? Agha. Agha is enemy. Anagha means one who doesn't have any enemies. Etad buddhva buddhiman syat. Buddhva, you are a very intelligent person, therefore I have told you. Krita kritasya cha bharata. What you should do and what you should not do. After telling the 15th chapter, Krishna says, to understand this knowledge that I have given you, iti guhyatamam, you have to develop certain qualities. What are those qualities? He starts explaining that in the 16th chapter. And he starts the 16th chapter with 26 qualities of a devotee or of a person who is seeking spiritual, who is on the spiritual path. He says, Abhayam sattva samshuddhir jnana yoga vyavasthitihi danam damascha yagnascha swadhyayascha tapat arjavam. Now, let us meditate 2 seconds of where does this asuric tendency come from? Why does one become an asura? I'll tell you a simple example. I'll tell you an episode. There was a lady. She once came to a devotee, and she said, "I'm going through a very bad phase of my life. I'm going through this bad phase where, for me, I'm fearful of everything." She had gone into such critical stage of her life. She was going into the bathroom without locking the bathroom. She was afraid that she might go and take a shower and she might die there. And her thinking was, if I die in the bathroom, who will come open? How will they open the door and save me? So I better not lock the door. So she was in a state of fear psychosis. And when she told this to a devotee, the devotee said, okay, let us now first analyze, why have you come to the stage of fear psychosis? Let's do some analysis, regression analysis, they say. What had happened, this lady had a habit, because she was very highly educated. She was PhD or something like that. Because of her high education and material status, she had developed a nature of becoming independent. Independent thinking, you know, you've been trained these days in institutions to think like that. This is the main cause of the problem. The problem is to think I am independent of everything. So she had this thing, there is no God. I am a self-made lady. I can do everything. I have achieved so far, I will achieve even more. So that confidence was, she was brimming with that confidence. So what had happened, I mean, this applies to anyone. It's a male or a female. I'm just giving you an example because this happened to a lady. It can happen to a man as well. Nothing to do with gender bias here. Please don't quote me for this later. So what happened later is, one day when she was traveling in her two-wheeler, her mother was sitting. In India, they sit on one side, you know. If they wear saris, they sit on one side of the scooter. When she went on a hump, something happened. Her mother lost balance. She fell back. And when she fell back, the truck just went on her mother, and she saw it. She couldn't do anything, because by the time she stopped, there was a truck, there was fast speeding traffic. The just truck went tuck, tuck, and she saw right in front of her eyes how her mother passed away. That fear sat in her mind so gravely that she was afraid to the core, fear psychosis, that this has happened, it can happen to me. And then when the devotee understood this, he thought, the problem is not because she saw that. The problem is she thinks she is independent. And that was broken by that one incident, that she is not independent. She couldn't save her mother. She is helpless. So she has to realize that I am helpless. She has to come to the point of accepting that there is someone beyond me who is controlling everything. Come to that point. So he said, can I suggest something to you, mother? Please start chanting the holy names of the Lord. Please acknowledge that nothing is in our hands. Everything is controlled by Him alone. So then you will understand that I am completely dependent. I'm completely dependent on this body. If this body gives up, I can't do anything. And even in this body, I'm not controlling this body. Something happens to my body, I can't control it. So we are completely dependent on everything. We are completely dependent. There is only one independent tattva, that is Krishna. She understood it. So the root cause of the problem was her avidya, her ajnana, that I am independent. So that independence is what causes bhayam. That is why Krishna states the first quality of a spiritual seeker is abhayam. That is why we are on the shelter of Abhaya Charan Prabhu. His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, his name was Abhaya Charan. Abhayam is a defining trait of a devotee who has complete surrender on the Lord and on the spiritual master. Because how do you identify a devotee who is completely surrendered? He is fearless. Prabhupada, when he put his step in Boston Harbor, what did he say? I am completely an instrument in your hands. Krishna, make me dance the way you want me to dance. How amazing is that? You see, when let's say a mother is on a roller coaster and she's carrying her child, what does a child do? He immediately grips the mom and he feels safe in the mother's arm. But the mother also might be feeling anxiety because the roller coaster. Well, where she will be gripping? No one. And she will be shouting or screaming. But the child is feeling safe in the arms of the mother. Why? Because the child has surrendered to the mother. Therefore, he knows my mom is there to protect me. So this conception we have to develop, that Krishna is there to protect me. If I think I can do it, if I think I am independent, the moment I think like that, material illusion happens and bhayam will come and sit. Yudhishthir Maharaj, when he was going to play the Dyut Krida, the gambling match, Krishna asks, Anuj, can I come with you? Yudhishthir says, don't worry, I can handle it. Krishna says, oh really? Okay, go ahead. And you see what happened. He lost everything. He lost his wife. He lost his kingdom, and he had to go out for exile for such a long time. It is this independent thinking is the root cause of our problem, of all the problems we have in this material world. And this independent thinking is because we are not surrendered to the Lord. We are not acknowledging that the Lord is all in all. He is mattaha parataram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam midam protam sutre manigana eva. So that is the meditation one can understand, that if we come to the point of understanding that my fear, that is why this quality we have to develop. Abhayam sattva samshuddhir. Prabhupada in the purport quotes that a sannyasi should be fearless. But sannyasi here does not only mean the person with an orange robe. Sannyasi means samyak nyasa iti sannyasa. Samyak nyasa means one who has given everything to Krishna, he has no fear. That is a sannyasi. Every one of us should become a sannyasi in our consciousness. So therefore, what is the remedy of the fear? How do we then get out of this fear? We have to again go back to scriptures. Bhagavatam. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktirutpadyate pumsaha shoka moha bhayapaha. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam. When someone studies Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 177, Krishne paramapurushe, meditating that Krishna is a Paramapurusha, then bhaktirutpadyate pumsaha. For that pumsaha, for that person, bhaktirutpadyate means bhakti will develop. And then what happens? Shoka, moha, bhaya, apaha. Shoka means lamentation, moha means bewilderment, and bhaya, apaha. Apaha means apaharan, which goes away, All these three will go away. Lamentation, fear, and bewilderment will go away. Just by yasyam vai shruyamanayam. Shruyamanayam means attentively hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. If you see these asuras and devatas, as soon as the nectar came, the first thing they had was fear. Oh, let me finish this before someone else will finish. This is the defining trait of an asura. If you see verse number 4 in the Daivasura Sampada, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the verse goes like this. They say, Dambho darpo abhimanascha krodha parushyam evacha ajnanam cha abhijatasya partha sampadam asurim. Prabhupada says pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness and ignorance. These are the qualities that belong to demoniac nature of son of Pritha. And Prabhupada writes, they do not know what should be done and what should not be done. They do everything whimsically according to their own desire, and they do not recognize any authority. Manorathena dhavati. However their mind thinks, they do it whimsically. And every time they do, so they don't have Krishna in the center. They don't have the faith. That is why you see the devatas did not snatch the Amrita. They were a bit bewildered. Okay, they have snatched the Amrita now. What do we do? And they immediately turned to Krishna. Krishna, please help us. So that's why Mohini Maruti manifests. And therefore that's why they achieved it in the end. So, what is the result of this fearlessness? One who overcomes the fear. Devatas overcame their fear. Because Mohini Murti, they knew, Mother Mohini will give them the Amrita. Krishna tells, Vita raga bhayak krodaha manmayamam upashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha. Vita raga bhayak krodaha. These three things, bhaya, after bhaya comes krodha. Vita raga bhayak krodaha. How does bhaya come? Because of attachment. Raga, bhaya and krodha are all attached to each other. They're all together. So one who is beyond it, then one comes and worships me. Man maya mam upashritaha. So they will then worship me, one who is beyond fearlessness. And that is what the Devatas did. They accepted Mohini Murti as the mother, therefore she fed the nectar to the Devatas, and then the demons did not get it. Now one may come to this understanding that the Lord has cheated the Asuras. Is it not? We have to always understand Lord never cheats. Because then, if he cheats, then sometimes we may say it's a transcendental cheating. But on the outside, if you see, apparently it seems that the place, the location, the attitude, at least the intention was the same. Both had done the same effort, both the Devatas and the Asuras, but the Devatas got the result. In famous words of Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, God is not impartial, he is reciprocal. Every student studies hard for the exam. Is it not? Every student works hard. Every student has the intention of passing the exam. Every student comes to the examination hall and works hard and writes the exam. But only some pass and some fail. You cannot blame the educational system or the teachers that why did you fail this student? They also have put the effort, but no, their efforts did not come out properly. Yeah, they wrote the exam, but they wrote everything wrong. So the answers were wrong, so therefore they failed. So in the same way, Krishna is reciprocal. They put the efforts, but the efforts were aham mameti. So therefore they do not get the passing mark, they do not get the nectar. So Krishna is impartial in that perspective that they got what they want. They also got nectar. Their nectar was the vision of Mohini Murti. They felt so happy looking at Mohini Murti, they forgot the nectar. They said, we are happy with Mohini Murti. And Mohini said, okay, you just drink my beauty and that's the part of your nectar. And that is the nectar you will get. And that nectar does not last long because that form was meant to bewilder the Asuras. So she bewilders them and gives the real nectar to the Devatas. So in that sense, Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu namedveshostina priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. So therefore I am not partial to anyone. I am impartial. No one is my enemy, no one is my friend. So I just am reciprocal. However they approach me, ye yathamam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajami aham. So with this, I will just summarize. I'll say this episode is very nice to meditate on a personal level also to see what is the divine and the demoniac qualities within us, how to cultivate these divine qualities so that we can always be fearless. And always another medium to develop fearlessness is love. Love and fear are two opposite sides. If we develop love for Krishna, naturally fear will go away. This development of love has to be done through sadhana bhakti. When we develop that love gradually, we become fearless to the existence of material existence. So with this, I'll just stop here. Thank you very much. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss for a while. No questions? Yeah, stay here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the nice class. Prabhu, you mentioned how the eclipses, they're caused by Rahu coming and attacking the sun and the moon. But in school we hear that the eclipse is caused by when the moon is orbiting the earth and comes in between the earth and sun, and then the sun casts a shadow. So how do we understand and how do we make our educators understand that our Vedas are true, whereas this theory that is not true?
This is a typical question that always arises. There is a planetary phenomenon and there is a spiritual phenomenon also. On the planetary scale, Rahu cannot be seen with our visible eyes. That also the scriptures say. Of course, if there is a shadow, if there is an object in between and there is a shadow cast on, so if an object is put in between the light, there is a shadow that comes. Rahu is that shadow. Absence of light is called Rahu. So when the moon comes and you see the dark inside a solar eclipse, that darkness that comes is reminiscent of Rahu. So you can always bring the Shastra and modern science together if you have always the spiritual angle to it. We don't have to prove them that there is a planet called Rahu, and then Rahu gallops the light, and then Rahu eats the sun. Generally, the scriptures are written in poetic form. When the scriptures are written in poetic form, there is very little mileage for the scientists, philosophers to say very eloquently the elaborate. For example, the diameter of the earth. The diameter of the earth says 1000 yojanas. It is not 1000, it is 1082 yojanas. That 1082, it doesn't fit in the meter sometimes. They say sahasra yojanam. They'll say sahasra is easy. It's not a mathematical accuracy. So in the same way, the intention of the scripture is not scientific accuracy. The intention of the scripture is spiritual progress. So we don't have to go and argue with the so-called materialists on that. For example, in scriptures, we only have 30 days. We have 360 days in a year, but it is 364.5465 days in a year. That's what they say. But you say 360 days. Yeah, but we know we have an extra month after 4 years, or 3 years once we have the Purushottam month, isn't it? So we also do some mathematical calculations, but the focus of our mathematical calculations is for spiritual progress. So we don't have to convince them, but we can get convinced in a way that, yes, Rahu comes in between because he shrouds the light of both moon and the sun. And that light, on a physical phenomena, he blocks the sun and the moon. On an internal phenomena, Rahu comes and sits in us as demoniac propensities. It is said, Rahu and Ketu in astrology, if you say, Ketu has a body, but he doesn't have a head. So therefore somebody says, if you have Ketu Dasha, if Ketu comes in your chart, then difficulties come in our life. And these difficulties will impel us to become spiritual. Right? And if Rahu comes in our chart, the negative forces come into our chart. Disturbances in the mind and all of that comes in our chart. What does it mean? It means that as long as we are not dependent on Krishna, these demons are none other than our own prarabdha karmas will come and trouble us time and again. In our own bhakti also they might trouble while we are executing bhakti. So how do we take it is, when I get a negative thought, when I get some obstruction in my execution of my devotional service, I should know that my demoniac propensities have come out. So we then deeply take the Krishna Surya Sama. We take the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet and say, Krishna, protect me from this dark ignorance. And that's it. We convince ourselves with that. And the more we get convinced ourselves, it's very easy. Our own behavior and nature will convince anyone. We don't have to have elaborate verbal battle with any of the modern scientists in that sense. Because the purpose is different.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Does it answer your question? I'm trying to answer it myself when I'm answering it to you. I'm trying to convince myself with that answer. Thank you. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You mentioned devotees do not worship Mohini Murti form and Buddha form. Can you say something about universal form which Krishna displayed in Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, universal form, in some sampradayas they do worship universal form. Virata Purusha they worship. In Madhva Sampradaya they do worship. Again, the spiritual consciousness behind, one can worship Mohini Murti, but they don't install deity and do Pancharatrika Vidhi on Mohini Murti. That's the point. But one can think Mohini Murti is there to give us nectar. She can take us from darkness to light. One can always meditate because the Lord's forms are all spiritually. She's one of the incarnations which Bhagavatam counts as. Even Virat Purusha. Virat Purusha is spoken in detail in the 2nd and the 3rd cantos. If you see Vasudeva consciousness, the Lord enters. The idea of Virat Purusha consciousness is to see and perceive the Lord everywhere in everything. That is the point of Virat Purusha. That is Virat Purusha consciousness. To see, this is Paramatma consciousness. When you see Krishna in every atom, in everything, even in material objects, when you see people walking around, Sarvataha Vak Pani Pada Samplutodake. There are so many legs, so many hands. When we see people all around us, there is Supreme Lord in every one of us. So therefore when you see hands, legs, faces, this is all the Supreme Lord enacting through a puppet of my body. So my body is moving because the Lord is making me move. So this consciousness of seeing Krishna everywhere, Sa Pandita Samadarshinaha. So if one who can see the Lord everywhere, this is Vasudeva consciousness. So this is one type of Virat Purusha consciousness, one to see the Lord everywhere, in terms of personal application. But again, in an external